You're listening to Coach's Corner here on AM 1250 Radio. I'm Kevin Geissheimer, joined here by Paul Dyck, the assistant coach of the Steinbach Pistons. And Paul, last time we talked, I guess I didn't talk with you. I talked with Rich. You guys were doing fairly well. I think we had 3 wins in 4 games, and all of a sudden now we've been on a bit of a slide. We've lost, the Pistons have lost 3 in a row. What's the atmosphere like right now around the dressing room?
Well, today it was great. We gave the guys the day off, so we didn't see anybody. So, but
no idea yet.
That's right. Well, I think after, we had been going quite well there. We had a homestand, and we felt like we were kind of turning things around a little. And we went on the road and lost a tough one to the Blues, and had a game last Wednesday that was really discouraging to our boys. And but that being said, we tried to put those things behind us, and then we played pretty good on Saturday, and we were right in that game, and the outcome wasn't what we were looking for, but I think it was a step in the right direction for the guys and just for their overall morale.
Yes, on last Wednesday, 7-1 lost to Nipois. Then you guys had a close game, 5-4. The team did not give up, even though they were down by 2 goals, 2 quick goals in that third period towards the end. You guys pulled your goaltender and fought probably the hardest I've ever seen with the goaltender on the bench, scoring a goal and just about scoring another goal. And I know they took that loss quite hard.
Yeah, they were upset about it. We were right in that game, and it's a building that we've been showing a lot of character in and been battling back from some deficits there. And yeah, I thought the boys executed the play nearly to perfection, resulting in a goal. It was a play that Rich had designed during a timeout with the net empty, and it was a one-timer that we were hoping that we'd win the face-off. Came back to Skurfield, and he threw it across for Franzik and he got good wood on it, and it resulted in a goal. So we were right in the game right till the end there. And anytime you lose a game that way, it's disheartening. But tomorrow we're going to come back to practice and tell the guys, listen, Nipois is behind us. We made strides the last game against a better hockey club, and we need to look forward to Wednesday.
Talking about the beginning of that hockey game, it was a little ridiculous. I know the Saints came out firing in all cylinders. They scored 21 seconds into the game, then the Pistons scored at the 50-second mark, and then also there's another goal at the 3-minute mark, 3:57. It was 3-2 in the first 5 minutes. What were you guys thinking on the bench after all that?
Well, it was fast and furious. I'll tell you, after the first goal, it's one of those where you're like, oh boy. But we have incurred that before this year, where the opposition has scored on us early, but we're learning to rebound from that, which is really good to see. From a coaching perspective, it's very encouraging. In years past, it was probably 1-2 goals early like that, and it's very difficult for our team to rebound. So, we hung with it. We stuck with it. Obviously, 20 seconds into the game is never what anybody wants to have, and I know Zach Ricacci was disappointed in giving up a goal that early, because sometimes it can be a little deflating for the hockey team.
Yeah, looking over the stats, actually went over your guys' games to see where you guys are at when you score first and when you don't score first. When the Pistons score first, you have 7 wins, 2 losses, and 3 overtime losses. When the other team scores first, it's 3 wins, 18 losses. And those 3 wins from not scoring first have actually just come recently. Like you said, we've been able to rebound. So it seems like the Pistons, when they do fall behind, it's tough for them to get back. And could that be because right now they are kind of fragile? They don't play their game when we're down by a goal or 2, and they're trying to be something bigger than who they are?
Well, I think that's a very fair assessment. For most teams, the first goal is typically critical, though. And, if a team is fragile and they get down a couple, it's, we're not a hockey team that has an abundance of firepower, so we're not going to go out there and win games 7-6. So to give up 2 or 3 early, it's a big challenge for our team. And I think guys, grip their sticks a little tighter, and they may feel that pressure that, to do things that aren't necessarily the way they normally play the game, or how they contribute to our hockey club. So you typically don't see the best out of some players when you're behind, and they take chances that they normally would not.
Looking over the lineup on Saturday, it was a little different. There was one number missing, a guy that was acquired about a month ago, I guess already. Mark Owen, number 19, wasn't in the lineup. Tell us the story behind that.
Well, Mark came in last Thursday and requested a trade, and so, it kind of sent some shockwaves around our dressing room. He just arrived here, and he's fit in nicely into our dressing room, and good friends with Cole and Zach, who came with him in the deal as well. So, yeah, it kind of caught us off guard, but, it's his 20-year-old year, and the way he was looking at it was, there's a chance that we're not going to be making the playoffs this year, and he wanted to finish his last year of junior on a team that was going to contend for a championship. So, it is disappointing. Personally, I like to see guys that want to be a part of a building process, and we tell our boys that there's decisions to be made. Sometimes you make the right ones, sometimes you make the wrong ones, and so that's where we are right now, and we're looking to make a move that can help our club down the road.
This isn't the first time this happened to the Steinbach Pistons this year. This also happened a few months ago when Russell Trudeau and Brendan Ritchie packed up ship. Looking back to when you played junior hockey, was this an issue with players just deciding to, hey, I'm not here anymore, I'm leaving, and they forced their opinion on the coaches?
No, it really wasn't, Kevin. I remember going to Dauphin for the first time, and I was just excited to be in the lineup regardless how much I played and what position I even played. As a matter of fact, the linesman saw me the other day and said, I remember I played a couple of games with him as an AP here in Steinbach, and he said, I remember playing forward with you. And I personally, I don't even remember the game, playing any games as a forward, but he said, yes, we played several shifts together as a forward. But you know what? You're just ecstatic to be in the lineup, and it's a privilege and an honor to play junior hockey at this level. And things definitely have changed. I remember the day if you were unhappy with the situation, you either chose to stay or you would probably go home, and that might be the end of your hockey career. I think now teams have been much more accommodating, to the players. I look back at one guy that probably changed it, and he changed it at the professional level, and all those things trickled down, but was probably Eric Lindros. When he was drafted by Quebec, but he didn't want to report, and they accommodated him by trading him to Philadelphia for Peter Forsberg. So, pretty good trade for both teams probably, but I think that kind of set the wheels in motion on movement like that, or players having the ability to force a team's hand. And I don't agree with it. I didn't agree with it as a player. Now being on the coaching side of things, I'm personally still not a big fan of it.
Here, the assistant coach of the Steinbach Pistons, Paul Dyck. Looking over the lineup now, I know December 1st has come and gone. That means you have to go from 45 cards down to 25 cards, and Mark Owen has one of those cards. How does this affect the team now that all of a sudden the card's gone, and now if you want to make a trade to help benefit the team in the future, one of those cards is kind of out? That's
right. We have made an appeal to the league where this was a situation that came upon us very quickly, about 7 hours before that trade deadline, our December 1st 25-card roster freeze. So essentially at this point, we have lost Mark's card. The league is going to look into it. They may revoke that and give us that card back. Mark's status will not change, but we will retain the card that we looks like we have lost. At this point, we have lost. So it'll give us the ability to add players, or add that one player to actually replace him.
And you also mentioned that, Mark Owen came here in the trade with Riccacci. He also played with former player Cole Burnett. How are these guys adjusting to this? Because this is one of their good buddies deciding to pick up his stuff and go.
Yeah, well, it is. It is something that can really impact the players. And we felt it in the dressing room that day. We saw it at practice, and I talked to Zach this afternoon, and I think now he's had some time to wrap his head around it all. And yeah, he's lost a former teammate. They played together before they got here, and they came here together from Saskatchewan. So he's losing a good friend, and Zach's here in a new community all by himself. And but you know, I know he was upset in practice. He was visibly frustrated, and but talking to him today, I think he now realizes that's part of the game at times, and sometimes you lose teammates when you would prefer that they would stay. And you know, he was fine today. So I haven't talked to Cole, but you know what, it does have an impact, and you know, they're still young guys, and the reality of pro hockey is this happens on a weekly or monthly basis, and you know, sometimes you see them down the road again, but sometimes you don't. So at the junior hockey level, they're being exposed to this for the first time.
Right. I think you made a good point there that these guys are still teenagers. Zachary Kratzy's 18. Cole Burnett is 20. He's trying to just be getting into manhood, and these are big things to experience, especially when they haven't maybe faced this kind of adversity. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but it is a big deal when friends leave, pack up, and go, and things aren't going as well as you'd hope on your team that you're playing on currently. Yeah, that's right. And you know, these are lessons that or things that they're going to experience down the road, be it in hockey or not. I mean, you know, there's people in this community, they have good friends that move away, and you know, it leaves a hole in their lives, but eventually those voids get filled with new friends and things of that nature too. So just a little learning lesson for them. And looking back right now over the last week or two, I know you guys have started to go through some adversity here with 3 losses in a row. If you were to pick out one guy out of the team that has really, really impressed you and Rich, who would you pick out of there that's just working hard? Doesn't matter what the situation is. He's going in there, and he just wants to do the best for the team.
Well, you know, we've got a couple guys that have really shown a lot of character for us this year. And, you know, the first guy that would jump to mind, I think just his overall improvement on and off the ice would be Brock Jenick. And, you know, he battles through the tough times. And we've got a lot of our young kids that have really started to step up. I mean, we've been very pleased with Denny Bosk and Telefor. I think the last 2 games, probably in my mind, the guy that stuck out the most is Taylor Friesen. You know, that game in Neepawa was pretty tough, and to be motivated probably after the first period. And I'll tell you, he really stepped up and was probably our best player the last half of that game, and he carried that over into St. Boniface. And he's still, you know, he's a young player, and playing on the road's not always you know, the easiest and most comfortable place for him. So I thought Taylor was excellent on you know, against the Saints, and he's starting to play more physical. He's playing more disciplined. He's learning the game. He's learning when to step up and to use his body to make contact. And you know, he even wound up getting into a bit of a tussle with one of their veteran players and acquitted himself quite well. So it's probably a good confidence builder for him as well.
What's next for the Pistons? I know that you guys have played 3 games. I think it's 15 days. And now your next game's coming up this Thursday. Tomorrow back at it. Is there another day off, or what's the deal with the guys?
They're back at it tomorrow. We've got off-ice workouts in the morning, on ice, and yeah, we're going to prepare for our next 2 games, and then we're back home for 3 before Christmas. But yeah, just really to refocus and you know, come out and enjoy the games. In fact, Zach told me something today, and it was I think it was very enlightening to him. As you know, he was a little disappointed the way we've been playing and losing a buddy, and he went out the other day, and we're very involved with minor hockey, and he was on the ice with I'm not sure if it was the Squirts or the novice group, but he said that really helped him. He really kind of puts things in perspective. The kids are out there, they're just loving the game, they're playing with a lot of energy, and they're just out there because they want to play the game and they love the game, and there's no distractions at that age. You know, I think that's where we are right now. We need to focus on it's a great game, and the boys need to come to the rink and have a good time. But that being said, you know, put your hard hats on. We're there to work, but you can have a good time in the meantime, and just focus on that. Enjoy the game, and play hard and come to win. That's kind of going to be your focus here. Just kind of simplify it, I think.
All right, Paul, thanks so much for coming in and talking about the Pistons.
Hey, my pleasure.